I'm sure one of the things we all love is when a game that we like goes free to play and gets worse. This has happened to a fair few, it's happened to Halo Infinite, and with Overwatch 2, really quite shockingly, it's ended up worse than we thought. Now you may say, wow, you're pessimists. Well, no. So the news leaked that the new characters in this game would be behind the Battle Pass, right? Now that was just a leak. We have actually got details of the system now, and it's worse than we thought, which honestly is rather impressive. So put two hands together for Activision Blizzard, they've done pretty well. Okay, so here's Kiriko, who is one of the new heroes that's coming with the release of Overwatch 2. Right, all pretty cool, all exciting, certainly a character I think will resonate with a lot of people, and they showed her and a bunch more off at Tokyo Game Show, right? Now you might be wondering, how do I get this character? Are the leaks possibly true? Well, yeah, the leaks are true. So this character comes from the free Battle Pass, or instantly with the premium Battle Pass, and a few other things. Now in the past we thought, oh surely she won't be too far down the Battle Pass, they'll know they don't want to make this too grindy because players will revolt. No, not whatsoever. The Battle Pass has 80 tiers, and she is on tier 55, meaning that in Overwatch, there will be payers. They will get all the shit nice and quick and have that cool premium feeling experience, but the people who have to grind, it does seem like you guys are going to have to do a lot of grinding, especially because the seasonal model of this game is extremely aggressive. Now, something that respects your time, that's awesome, that you should do, is today's sponsor. Brilliant! You see, our robots from last time are on holiday, and we need to deploy strategic order logic to make sure they don't destroy each other. You see, Brilliant are the best way to learn new STEM fields, improving your prospects and bettering yourself, all via their fantastic site and app. The first 200 to click my link will get 20% off their annual subscription. Now, they teach via interactive quizzes and puzzles with curiosity-inspiring problems, all in a way that is learned by doing, where making mistakes is okay. They do a simply incredible job of explaining difficult topics, genuinely growing your mind. And this time, I moved further along their logic course, hitting up strategic order logic, which is all about stretching the shreds of information that you're given to deduce the right way of doing things, of handling things. And it's that type of thing where, straight up, a lot of these STEM skills, they just enrich your brain. They give you more powerful cognitive arms to deploy in your day-to-day life. So don't sponge in facts like I did for way too many years. Learn by doing, and do so with brilliant.org/Bellular News, where the first 200 to click down below will get 20% off their annual sub. Welcome back, and thanks for supporting the show. Okay, so you get Kiriko from the Premium Battle Pass instantly, or if you've missed the Battle Pass, then you can buy her with currency. Yes. Now, this of course is going to be some real money dollar currency, or you can actually just do special challenges to unlock her when the season ends. So basically, once again, it is a case of time is money. Now, the currency in this game is Overwatch coins. Overwatch coins can actually be earned on a weekly basis, so this is the thing that's relatively good, but sometimes we have to ask ourselves, well, is the weekly earning of Overwatch coins via gameplay in the weekly challenges, is that just there to educate us on the value of the purchase? Well, let's take a look here. So 500 Overwatch coins is $4.99, $10 for 1,000, right? So $1 is 100 Overwatch coins. Well, if I go down here, you can see the weekly earnings of Overwatch coins. Now, I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be any more of these, but you can see here, these are the weekly challenges. So to do 4 weekly challenges, if you do that, you'll get 30 coins. 8 weekly challenges is 20 coins, and 11 weekly challenges is 10 coins. That means that every week, you are getting 60 Overwatch coins. That is 60 cents. So a week's progress is 60 cents worth of progress, right? And of course, if we then go up and we look at those amounts, yeah, obviously somebody is going to see a decently slow rate of earning these coins, and they're going to think, I sure have been educated on the value of these optional in-game purchases. And of course, once Season 1 is over and you want to get the Kiriko character, well, you could do some special challenges, or you could just pony up the cash and unlock her immediately and just go and play her, which does mean, because we can't just think about the launch experience here, everybody. No, this is a part of a multi-year plan. So if they are putting like between 4 and 6 heroes in the game, because it's a hero every 2 seasons, in a year and a half, let's just say there's another 10 heroes in the game or something, right? Each one of those heroes, that's going to be quite a lot of stuff that you're missing out on, and that will be fairly interesting in regards to the meta, in regards to hero swapping, which actually are both things that in their media tour, the Overwatch representatives have actually been keen to downplay, which I think is a fairly interesting thing. Now, to go and take a look at this battle pass then. Yes, she's on the free track, but she is at rank 55 out of 80, so that's nearly 3/4 of the way into the pass. Now, there is one caveat here, which I think is good. It allows people to at least try a hero out before they buy, where all will be automatically playable in the practice range, custom games, no limits, mystery heroes, mystery deathmatch, and a few select game modes as well as special event modes. So that is actually a good thing for the free experience, right? So, you know, we're pro that. And of course, this is another nice thing. With Kiriko, you do get her for free, even if you don't purchase the new Battle Pass, provided you already have Overwatch 1 on your account. So that's a little bit of a, a gift or whatever to the people who supported Overwatch 1. But of course, that will not continue for any future heroes. So that's basically it. It is Battle Pass or it is grind. That is the design. We were all pretty clear in that, but it's just the fact that it's a little bit worse than, really worse than we thought. And I mean, we've got a clipping of Reddit here, but you can absolutely understand what the broad community reaction has been with this one. Especially because, kind of like with Halo Infinite, but I think more impactful because this is gameplay impacting. When you move from a more a la carte experience where all gameplay features are there, and then you move over to free-to-play, that ends up feeling bad for a lot of players. Because, well, they would have bought Overwatch 2 anyway, had it cost $40 or $50. The thing, I think, is that Blizzard ultimately knows that it's pretty damn hard to get somebody to a lifetime account value of $1 to maybe, $2,000 with the monetization model of Overwatch 1, unless they happen to be a massive whale for the loot boxes. Whereas I think they look at what, say, some of Riot's players will have paid in League of Legends over 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and often those account values are really humongous. So that's really the sort of thing that Blizzard is going to be drilling into in this. Now, of course, as Halo Infinite even told us, the quality of a battle pass itself does matter. So to investigate this then, the free Battle Pass has 20 tiers on it, and you'll get, of course, Kiriko at rank 55, 2 epic skins, 1 weapon charm, 2 souvenirs, a highlight intro, and 14 additional items, which are emotes, victory poses, name card sprays, player icons, that sort of thing, and prestige tier titles, which are 8 earnable titles only that you can only earn after you've completed the entire pass. And then, of course, there's the other 60 premium tiers, which, if you get that, you'll of course have immediate access to Kiriko. You'll have a 20% XP boost for your Battle Pass, a mythic skin, 5 legendary skins, an epic skin, 3 play of the game intros, 4 weapon charms, 3 emotes, 3 souvenirs, 6 poses, 6 name cards, and 30 plus additional rewards. Now, the thing is, these are 9-week-long seasons. Yeah, 9 weeks. So you've got 9 weeks to finish out that Battle Pass. Because, of course, if you purchase that premium Battle Pass, but, oh no, something comes up and you cannot, go into the mines and grind your Battle Pass because you're a good modern gamer. Or dare you even try to play multiple modern games with multiple Battle Passes, because everything is just an attention economy hellscape these days, then you're of course going to just lose that value, because unlike Halo Infinite, and this is something I think the whole industry should adopt, whenever you purchase a Battle Pass, it is yours forever. So in Halo Infinite, if a Battle Pass expires, later on, if you've bought that Battle Pass, you can switch back to it and continue to earn things. Meaning it is less the idea of, hey player, give us $10 and maybe you'll get these rewards. It depends on how much you show up to work, which feels pretty rough. Now, getting to rank 55 to get Kiriko within 9 weeks, that could be a tall order. I mean, the industry standard is 100 tiers for a battle pass, so 80, 80 is a bit less. But it still is quite a lot to achieve within a season that is shorter than most. Of course, the 20% match XP boost will certainly help, and you will have daily and weekly challenges that will get you more experience. Now, we looked into that. One tier of the Battle Pass seems to be 10,000 XP. Weekly challenges seem to give you 5,000 XP. So that means you're kind of getting like 5.5 levels per week if you're just doing all your weekly challenges. But it's probably worth saying that these weekly challenges are not quick things to just tick off, and they may not even include the type of gameplay that you want. If we take a look at these, win 10 games queued as all roles. Well, alright. Now that said, let's just say that you are playing this game with your friends, and there's a particular character or set of characters within the same role that, you really do feel like you want to just gain a level of mastery of to be better and competitive. Well, okay, then you won't be doing the all-role queue. So that may not fit you. And again, this is an issue that cropped up for players of Halo Infinite, where the way to progress through the Battle Pass was through the challenges, but often many of the challenges weren't actually things that people would naturally want to do in the game. Winning 10 games, that's totally fair. Winning 20 games in unranked or competitive play. I mean, 20 games, if we're going to assume that is a 50% win rate, that's 40 games played. And like, man, that's a lot of time. And if you only get 17 games play or wins in a week, well, you're going to miss out on that progress, right? So you're really on reset, and the evening before reset, you really want to go and get there, because not only is it, well, I mean, it's progress, it's a big chunk of XP, that you're losing out on, which is going to be fairly important if you want to get the new character. Winning 7 games in arcade mode, I mean, that one would probably be quick to grind out, but let's be real, some of us don't want to play arcade mode. So it's one of those things where you can get quite a lot of progress through the weekly challenges, but man, those weekly challenges may not actually be things that you want to do. Now, another fascinating problem about this system is, and this is a wrinkle we don't normally see, some battle passes will be more worthwhile than others in a way, because remember, new heroes are coming out every alternate season. Now that's definitely healthy for the game. A new hero every season would probably just, probably be unsustainable in terms of making like a good balanced game experience. But it does mean that every second one won't have a hero, so they need to fill that value gap. They haven't really given us much evidence there or said anything. I would perhaps presume putting maybe more mythic skins in. I think that could be a reasonable option. It's somewhat hard to say, and again, with PvE, we don't know what the monetization will be like for that, but if you think that Overwatch is coming out in a few weeks, well, and we're only just finding out things like this now, it might actually take a little while, maybe mid-January, before we understand this PvE thing, and the idea of PvE being monetized doesn't seem to be unreasonable to me. I mean, take a look at Hearthstone. Its PVE content is monetized. So maybe these are things, maybe it's almost like Guild Wars and its Living World stuff, where, during the season, the PVE stuff comes out, it's like just free and you can go in and play it, but maybe you've got to purchase it afterwards and it kind of goes in a vault. I don't really know exactly, literally nobody knows, but there could be additional fears there, and I suppose it's hard to remove from your mind how Hearthstone works, especially given how they monetized basically the number of hero options in Battlegrounds that you would get, which is something that, because of balance, actually does turn into people who've got the Tavern Pass or whatever. They do have a materially higher win rate if they engage in the premium purchase. And I think often, we're, as gamers, we're pretty happy with paying for cosmetics in a free-to-play game, or maybe even paying for a little bit of a little bit of convenience or something like that. Just, not when it's tied into player power. And if you look at one of the more successful games in the world, Fortnite, it is not monetizing player power whatsoever. I suppose they're at a scale, and also they are a privately held company where Tim Sweeney is like the majority shareholder, where I think they can just choose to do what they overall feel comfortable with, and perhaps they also understand that if their game is being played by a lot of younger people, that, you know, if they started putting player power or things like that into the monetization, that they could actually start to get in some pretty damn hot water. But anyway, yes, the way that works is, half the seasons come with a new hero, the other half of the seasons come with a new map, and obviously the map is not going to be a monetized thing. So this really, man, it quite is something. This is... I mean, if you're thinking about the amount, of weekly challenges you need to do, that's a lot of games of Overwatch. And I think that's, it's unfortunate for somebody like me, where I don't really want to main a game. The thing is, I'm actually looking forward to Overwatch 2. Some of its game design decisions, while maybe not ideal for some of the core Overwatch audience, they're actually pretty nice for me and how I would like to play that game. So I'm maybe a little bit of their target audience as a sort of lapsed original Overwatch player. But you know what? I want to play some Valorant. I want to play some Apex Legends. I want to play FF14. I want to play World of Warcraft. I want to play Diablo 4 when it comes out. Now, if you think, even within Blizzard, between having to do all your stuff in World of Warcraft, and then Overwatch almost looking like a paid job, and then whatever the Battle Pass is for Diablo 4, which I suppose will be less optional because it's like not gameplay affecting at all, unlike the Overwatch one, I suppose ultimately they just know that for somebody like me, it's gotta be, hey, cough up. And I suppose that probably is the thing that would make sense for me to do every second season. And ultimately, I think that is the point, because if I just buy Overwatch for £40 or £50, that's it. I'm not going to buy loot boxes. I'm not, I didn't do that really in Overwatch 1 or anything like that. So then they know that for somebody like me, well, they can just have me toss them some change every second season, maybe for years. Or maybe I come back to the game, want to try a bunch of champions, so, got to spend some money. And I suppose Blizzard would also begrudgingly, they kind of be like, oh, you guys are okay doing this in League of Legends and stuff. And I mean, it is just a bit different, isn't it? And one of the reasons why people say that it's different is pick-ban, right? The way that the meta and all that stuff works in a game like League, or of course in Dota, where the whole unlock system is fairly different. Well, the Overwatch team have been doing a media tour trying to explain what's actually going on to the rest of us so that we can understand what's going on. And, I will give them a little bit of credit for actually being honest here. They are telling it as it is. When we looked at making this transition to free-to-play, one of the great goals was to provide original Overwatch players what they wanted, which was just a continuous delivery of content. Absolutely. I think a lot of Overwatch players would say, well, you had a Fortnite tier super awesome game. Fortnite's able to monetize without doing gameplay affecting stuff. I guess because you're a hero-based game, you're going to do that, but do you really have to? To which, obviously, they're thinking, no. There's obviously a version of this game that is cosmetic only, but they'll have data scientists. They'll have telemetry from other games. They will run financial forecasts on these things, right? They will want to think about what is the retention rate of their user, what, roughly what's a cost of acquisition for a user like, how long do they stick around, what's the average user spend, and they are going to put all of those things into big old financial models, and, they'll be building a mid-range case, a bear case, a bull case, and I think ultimately they forecasted their numbers and they looked at the hero thing, and again, this will be informed by data from user surveys, focus tests, all the stuff they can get their hands on, conversion rates seen typically in the industry via very expensive, reports from analytics firms. Like, man, this side of the business, it's something that consumers never really see, but it really is a massive thing. So they obviously have done the financial modeling and know that this will make significantly more money, and ultimately, they just did admit, look, the heroes are the single most engaging content that we have in the game. As we designed the model, it seemed to be a very strong fit to put those heroes in our new engagement systems. And I think the thing that is going to make somebody, maybe like me and you, feel a bit off is that, you know, because that's the sort of thing you watch Mythic Quest, you think about Brad from finance, and it's like, this is the sort of thing he'd want, right? You know, it's like, this is the heel coming into the industry, isn't it? And when we start to hear put new heroes into our engagement systems, that does feel like a bunch of people, and I'm not saying that this is how Mr. Kong and co. actually think, but I am saying it's how a lot of people feel. This kind of feels like you've got our betters, who are at a different echelon to us. They are modeling our behavior and designing engagement systems. And even when they're using that terminology in the press, I mean, half of it, I'd say, credit for being honest and calling it what it is, an engagement system. But I think also it can feel quite dehumanizing. It can feel quite passionless, right? It can feel a little bit like we're the lab animal, you know, to earn money. And I don't think any of us are against Blizzard earning money, no. We want these companies to earn money by providing a good experience, because then they, you know how it goes, right? Unless, you know, Bobby's just buying another yacht, but that's just a bit of a meme, isn't it? Now, some of the user feedback to this is like, hey, what about the meta? Hey, what about pick ban? These are, not pick ban, counter swapping. When the idea of the meta was brought up, they basically sort of played all these things down. And in fairness to them, there could be a difference between the game that Papa Jeff and co. designed back in the day and how people actually played that game. And that is how it is with live games. So this is what the Overwatch rep said. What we actually see in the data is the majority of players in Overwatch have a majority of their playtime on 2 or fewer heroes. Interesting, and I suppose, yeah, it was kind of like that for me. I would maybe have a few different picks that I would try within my role, but I suppose that's fair enough. I hardly played everything, and most people wouldn't. Similar thing would go for games like League as well. And you can get 99% of playtime for a majority of our players with 12 or fewer heroes. They have a cast of 30 right now, and when you look at people, how people are actually playing the game there, they're using a couple of heroes for most of how they play. Sometimes they'll swap and add in a couple more heroes, but basically the point there is the swapping concern ain't that big. That sort of thing's not that big because, frankly, people don't play that many heroes. Now, a lot of people will say, hey, but what about balance? What if the new hero ends up being flavor of the month? How does that work? Well, in the first 2 weeks of his season, the new hero will not be available in Ranked. Now, that's... I mean, if you were to unlock that in the free pass, I have a feeling that would be a pretty mammoth amount of gaming that you would have to do to unlock that within the first 2 weeks. So they're saying that, of course, this will allow them to, do last-minute updates, balance fixes, and that kind of thing. Now, there's another thing they said here, and this is kind of interesting because it's a justification for some of this being okay, right? The idea that a player could go into Ranked without having every hero, which right now, this might only be 1 or 2 heroes, but in 2 or 3 years' time, it will be a lot more than that. And they say that one of the big differences with 5v5 combat is they've actually tuned a lot of the heroes in the game, and they've made changes to reduce the number of hard counters that it has. This is what Aaron Keller, the game director, I believe, said. Now, to somebody like me, where I, to be honest with you, prefer a game where it is possible to hard carry. This is just a thing in a shooting game that I like. Now, I know that a lot of the fan base that Overwatch God who kind of liked it as this like first-person action MOBA. They maybe won't prefer that gameplay style as much, but it does work better for me. But what they're basically saying here is they want the game to be a bit more organic. They want people to have impact, but also to have more freedom in what hero they're choosing for any particular situation. So essentially, that's saying that the sort of picking and counter-picking mid-match thing, they're just kind of saying that that's not really something that's actually even happening in Overwatch 2, right? Well, it wasn't happening much anyway, but in Overwatch 2, with the changes they're making to the game balance, it'll kind of be something players will have less of an appetite to do anyway. So where am I left with this? Well, oh, there is the other thing to mention too. You do have a weekly, weekly bundles and that kind of thing, in the store, right? So it's kind of like that thing of like, Fortnite where you've got a a battle pass, a weekly rotating store, maybe daily rotating things, who knows. The difference here being the gameplay impacting element. So basically, right, if the disposable income is there and you are going to be playing a hell of a lot of Overwatch 2, then you know what, this is still going to be fine enough for you, right? Realistically. But it's not going to be like that for everybody, and I think I would especially try to just call into notion that there are many more countries than just, you know, like the more well-off Western European countries and, you know, the United States, Canada, etc. So there are countries where this is definitely going to be a very, very expensive purchase, right? I mean, I was in a rush today, so, you know, I did end up getting a cold brew and a little wrap from Starbucks, and that's basically the cost of the premium battle pass. So, I mean, to me, that's like reasonably okay, but it's not going to be like that for everybody. And I think we would all prefer an instance where this is a completely level playing field in terms of access to gameplay impacting mechanics. So that's the situation. We didn't expect it to be brilliant, but tier 55? I think that's asking too much grind. And that grind, of course, exists to justify purchasing the battle pass for the instant initial unlock. Yeah, it's all pretty transparent, really. I mean, they're even talking about their engagement systems and all of that, so you know what it is, don't you? I mean, that's that. That's just the way that, unfortunately, the way the industry is moving. And I suppose in my head, I start to question, how the fuck is this shit? How is this going to be sustainable in the long run? I think it's going to make, and this kind of goes back to the Oxford study that we talked about a while ago about the impact of gaming on people's well-being. And this is just capturing people's attention into battle passes. And the one type of player, I think, who's punished the most by this, because, I mean, look, if you're going to mono game Overwatch 2, then, you know what, fair enough, fine. You are actually going to get, it seems, a shitload of content, and you'll probably have a great time with the game. But for those of us who want to have a rich, diverse, varied gaming experience, you know, just sampling all the tasty things around the industry, it's going to be really hard. I mean, I've wanted to get back into Destiny a little bit because I enjoyed its shooting, but man, it's got its battle pass, I think anyway, and a hell of a lot of things to do. I want to keep up playing 1 or 2 MMOs, and I know this is kind of my problem, but then there's so many other games. I mean, Apex with its battle pass, Overwatch 2 with its battle pass, Valorant with its pass, and there's just so many games with battle passes, man. And as Halo Infinite shows us, you can really fuck up people's rewards, motivation, psychology shit with a badly implemented battle pass and frustrating weekly challenges. And if you do that, they will not be happy with your game, and that is what Blizzard have got to avoid. Won't be too long till we see how this shakes out in the real world, so till then, that's it for me. Definitely hit up Brilliant. They're one of those things like, hey, it's intrinsic, it's the good shit, so check them out. They're a big supporter of the channel, really making a lot possible here, so we love them, they're awesome, and they sponsored today's video. With that said though, thank you for tuning in. Let me know what your take is on all this, and I'll see you next time.